if you get easily angered, there and then thinking, that is addictive thinking. When I get there, then everything's going to be okay. When I finally get off probation, when I get out of this house, when I get a job, when I get there, when I get here, right? That's addictive thinking. Right there, it's a setup for failure. Because then you don't do anything in between. You're just sitting around waiting. You're doing no footwork in between. And then you get there and you get off and you go, well, I'm still me. I haven't done anything to like equip myself or to like change myself in a way. I've just waited to get here. Now that's off, okay. Now what do I do? If nothing changes, right? So I asked my sponsor, when do I get there, Bill? And he said, when you die. There is no there to get to. My sponsors always ask me that. Oh, Chris, when am I going to get there? And I go, I love it when I get to say that. When you die. Because that's what my sponsor told me, right? There's no there to get to. Lying, dishonesty. When you start lying again, you know, people in early recovery lie just to lie. And we do it like that. Like my whole first year of recovery, I would just lie for no reason. I didn't even have to lie anymore, right? But I would just lie. Especially when I got around people that I felt insecure around, like I felt were more accomplished than me, like I felt inferior to, I would lie. Oh, I've done all this, I've done that, and this, and blah, blah, you know, whatever. And I would just be all like, and the people look at me and go, what the hell was that? Like, you didn't do that, you didn't whatever. Or we'd lie about our feelings, right? Like, I would go to a meeting with my sponsor and I'd be like having a horrible day, and he goes, talk about it at the meeting today. Ask these people to help you and give you suggestions on how to deal with it. And then at the beginning of the meeting, they'd say, anybody have a topic they want to talk about? And I'd just sit there. I didn't want to bring it up, right? And then we'd walk out, and then it would come around to me, and I'd go, oh, everything's great, taking it one day at a time. First things first, keeping it simple. All those slogans, right? And we walked out that day, and he like shook me, and he said, stop it. You cannot recover if you're dishonest with yourself or anybody else. Stop lying. You know, my friend Bernadette said once, like sober about 4 months, she said, are you tired? And I said, yeah. She goes, yeah, it takes a lot of work to be a phony, doesn't it, Chris? I was like, biatch. She said, what? She goes, yeah, it takes a lot. She goes, I get it. We all lie, and we're all dishonest the first year of recovery because addiction makes you be a liar. It doesn't give you a choice. Because who's the first person you have to lie to convince yourself it's okay to go out and poison yourself or to start using again? Right. And people always go, I love it when when I was supervising baby therapists at Park Center, right? You know, like young therapists, they come in and go, Chris, can you believe this addict lied to me? And I said, oh, you're not an addict, are you? I go, duh. They didn't even have to lie, Chris, they didn't have to lie. They just lied to me. And I go, duh. Like, so? And they're like, oh, that's just so wrong. And I said, no, it's normal. For us, the first year or so is normal, okay? I mean, I walk away going, oh, God, why did I lie? I didn't even have to lie. I just lied. Okay? Holding feelings in, resentments, okay, that's what that is, okay. Feeling powerless, hopeless, or helpless. If you get to that point where there's no choices, you've gotten down to that drink, use, go crazy, or kill myself, right? Poor me. That's the self-pity, okay? That's not grief. Why me? If you're saying, why me? God, why me? That's grief, and you just need to have other people say, hey, it's okay to miss it today, okay? Poor me, we're in trouble. Because then we're looking for a reason to go out and drink then, okay? Overconfidence about your recovery. You ever seen people like that? I'll never drink or use again. I was go, uh-oh. Oh, I've been sober 27 years and I never say that. I never say never. I never say I'll never drink or use again. I don't know. I'm pretty sure if I do today what I did yesterday, I probably won't drink or use, but I don't know. I haven't had a stuck point big enough yet to make me go back to that place, but who knows? You know, 12 years ago or 15 years ago, my boss was shot and murdered in the office right next to mine at Family and Children's Services, that counseling agency right across from La Margarita. And the bullet, in Calhoun, and they killed Charlie Knuppel, the probation officer, and my boss, right? And I was in the office next door, and one of the bullets came right through the wall, right by my head, and landed in the filing cabinet right behind me, okay? So I didn't drink or use again, but I was in relapse mode for 2 years. I relapsed on every other addiction I had, except alcohol and drugs. It took me 2 years to recover. When I finally got aware I was relapsing for 2 years, I stopped being a therapist for 3, just to do my healing work. around all that trauma, right? I said, oh my God, you're going to take people as far as you've gone. For me, it's a short trip right now, right? I don't have anything I can't help anybody. I can't even help myself right now. Okay? That was a huge stuck point. But it gave me a lot of empathy for people that have relapsed, you know? Because I kind of was thinking, I'm a therapist, I've arrived and whatever, and blah, 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 blah. I needed some humility. Tell you what, seeing your life flash before your eyes, that's a big stuck point, right? Okay, let's see here. Increased use of prescription or non-prescription medication. Over-the-counter stuff, gotta be careful, especially if you're a speed freak like me. I gotta be real careful with like pseudoephedrine, any other mood-altering stuff. I couldn't even drink coffee the first year. I drink the whole pot at a meeting, you know, vibrate through the wall on the way out, you know, like, oh, I need to open the door, you know, I'd be like, like that, okay? Over or under eating, especially alcoholics, a lot of them tend to get addicted to sugar and tend to over or under eat sugar the first year of recovery, okay? I gained 80 pounds the first 6 months I got sober. 80. 43-inch waist, no neck. My sponsor looked at me one day and said, you know what, Chris, I think you have, my mother's a compulsive overeater, my dad's a drunk and you know, and I got both, you know, and I said, why me, right? Like, you know, and my sponsor said one day, you know, Chris, I understand alcohol and drugs kick in your ass. Like, I can see Jack Daniels, but I don't know why you can't put down the Twinkies and the Haagen-Dazs. Like, you need to go to Overeaters Anonymous and get a different relationship with food, because alcohol and drugs you can lock in a cage, never open again. You got to eat every day, right? So all you got to do is challenge the one that's killing you first, and all your other addictions will come to light. Then I got all the weight off, got back in shape, and then all of a sudden I go, now I'm a sex addict. Okay? And my sponsor said, I think you're a sex addict. And I was like, well, what do you mean? And he said, you can't date 5 people at once and have your life be manageable, Chris. You're lying to somebody. Right? You cannot date 5 people at once and be telling the truth to everybody. Right? Okay? They get uncovered. You start dealing with one. Right? Like when I relapsed, you know, 12 years ago, I never relapsed on alcohol or drugs. But I caused a lot of damage with my sex addiction again, and with my food and over-exercising addiction again. I caused a lot, gambling can be one. I don't know, that was never me, because I didn't like, I wanted an instant reward. I wanted to like, taste the ice cream, have an orgasm, or like, at least get drunk, okay? I wanted some instant gratification. I wasn't willing to roll the dice and just, you know, lose money. What the hell's fun about that? But I get it. I get gambling addicts, you know, they chase it, right? So it's not my thing. I'd have to tell somebody to go to GA, okay? All right, loss of daily structure. Okay, when you stop having structure in your life, addiction does not like structure. If you start oversleeping, not taking care of yourself, you know, loss of your daily routines.
I got a question.
Yeah.
Back to the sex thing. What clinically defines that as being an addict to sex? Is it the multiple relationships?
Nope. It's that, here's a definition of any addiction. You start working for it, your life starts getting centered around it, and the pleasure eventually starts creating more pain than it's causing, and it causes you to break agreements with yourself and other people.
Understood. I got you.
That's any addiction.
So when it becomes disruptive in your life.
Any area of your life where it's causing damage and keeping you from keeping agreements with yourself and other people, then it starts crossing the line into addiction. You start working for it not working for you. You know? I can't hang it on the internet 8 hours a day, chasing all these people, doing all that kind of stuff, you know, and get to work. Yeah, that's right. It's a lot of work, man. It takes a lot of work to be a phony, right? And keep a stash. And be chasing it. Okay. All right. Avoiding 12-step meetings and other people in recovery. In AA or any 12-step program, they always say, the days that you don't want to go to meetings are the days you should do what? Get to a meeting more than anything else. Those are the days. And I used to tell my sponsor, I don't get anything out of those meetings. And he said, spoken like an addict. Addicts just want to get, Chris. He said, think about it this way. Take one thing from a meeting and give one thing, even if it's only your presence. Because the newcomer is the most important person in a 12-step meeting, because we have to give it away to keep it. So your presence alone is enough. He thanked me every time. We met once a week and worked from step 1 to step 12. He thanked me every week when I was walking out the door. Thank you for coming over and letting me help you. And I'd go, I feel like I'm bothering you. If I had to call him or whatever, you know. He didn't care if I called him at 2 in the morning if I had to wanted to get high. He said, call me. He says, helping you helps me. I go, really? I don't feel like it. I feel like I'm bothering you. He says, you don't have to believe it, just do it. You'll get it one day, right? Okay. Feeling inferior or superior instead of one of. Nagging, whining, everything sucks. Poor me, okay. Wanting to feel good or happy all the time. People in recovery say to me, gosh, I thought I'd be feeling better by now. And I say, spoken like an addict. Addicts just want to feel good all the time. You know, and instead of feeling what you're supposed to in the moment. Feelings come and go. I was told if you're having a bad day in recovery, take a nap, eat a good meal, and things will look better. Feelings come and go. They'll pass. It's just a day to not make a major life decision. If you're really upset or angry, the feeling will pass. Work your tools, do whatever. Okay. Some of these we're kind of repeating here. Thinking if I just found the right person or job or this. It's kind of that there and then thing, right? Okay. And, you know, have you ever noticed like on dating sites, they always say looking for? And I had a friend of mine who said, gosh, Chris, I keep dating all these women that I see on these websites and everything, and they're all crazy, right? They all say they're looking for this and that, whatever, like that. And then I start dating them and I go, you lied on your profile, right? You are crazy. And I said, well, what does your profile say? It says looking for. And I said, so you're going to find somebody else that's looking for somebody else to fill them up too, treat you like a drug. And the day you can't do it, they're going to be all pissed off and resentful. So I said, why don't you change your profile to ready to be? This is what I'm ready to bring to relationship. And he said, what do you mean? I said, would you want to marry you? That's when you know you're ready to date. To date, not your potential. Okay? Addicts and codependent people fall in love with people's potential. Who they could be, not who they are today. Okay, so, would you want to marry you today? And my sponsor asked me that question, I said, hell no. I'd be using me, right? I'd be taking advantage of me. I'd be treating me like crap. I'd be breaking every promise with me. And he said, yeah. So you have to become what you want to get in a relationship or be willing to work on it. And I was also, oh, so I said to him, put that in your ad. This is what I'm ready to bring. And he used to get like 20 hits a day on his website, right? I talked to him like that 3 weeks later. I said, how many hits have you got? And he said, 2. 2. So, and he said he went out with one of the women on the thing, and she was really nice, and they got on a few dates. And he said, and I asked her, I said, why did you respond to my ad? And she says, I like the way that you phrased that. She goes, I'd want to marry me too, because I bring a lot to the table, and I need a man who brings as much as I do. I've never read a want ad phrased like yours. They're always like looking for, looking for, looking for. And he said, I wish I would have known that like years ago. I said, it wouldn't have mattered because you weren't ready yet, right? So.